Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked around your life and just thought, everything's fine? You know, you've got a good job, good people around you, a good little routine. But what if that good life is actually the biggest thing standing between you and a life that's truly great? Okay, let's get into this.
So this is the big idea we're going to unpack today. It sounds totally backward, right? But think about it. The comfort of good can actually stop us from taking the risks we need to take to get to great. It's kind of like a comfortable cage.
And that leads us right into our first big concept, what we're calling the comfort trap. This is the idea that the very things that feel safe and familiar, our good life, can actually be what's boxing us in and keeping us from our real potential.
This breakdown here, it lays it all out so clearly. On the one hand, a good life, it feels comfortable, it's secure, but a lot of times it's just us running on these old limiting patterns. But a great life? That's about being aligned with who you really are and what you want. It's expansive, and it's where you actually reach your full potential. And here's the kicker, the journey from good to great isn't really about adding more stuff to your plate, it's about subtraction. It's about learning what to let go of. It's like harvesting in the fall, right? You've got to decide what you're going to keep and what you need to leave behind because it just doesn't serve you anymore. So, if letting go is the secret sauce, why is it so ridiculously hard to do? Well, it turns out our resistance to change isn't some kind of personal failing. It's not you. It's biology. It's literally about how our brains are wired to keep us safe. See, our nervous system is basically on high alert for danger, and big, sudden changes feel like a massive threat. So, the key to working with our biology instead of fighting it is this idea right here, incremental change. We're talking small, gradual shifts that give your nervous system time to catch up and go, oh, okay, this new way of being is safe. I get it.
And this quote just nails the result. It's from a woman named Sarah, and she's describing her nervous system literally recalibrating in real time. Because she made these small changes over time, her brain learned that this new state of ease, this feeling where she's not constantly fighting herself, that's the new normal. How cool is that?
Okay, so we get it. Change is hard because of our biology, and small steps are the answer. But how do we actually do it? Like in the real world? Well, this next part is all about two incredibly practical tools for managing your life to make that change not just possible, but way easier. All right, tool number one is all about managing your external world. How you deal with other people, with tasks, with all the energy coming at you. And the absolute core skill for this is setting effective boundaries. Now, we have to completely rethink what a boundary is. Forget the idea of some big rigid brick wall. The metaphor used in our source material is so much better, a cell wall. It's a permeable filtration system. It's not about shutting everyone out, it's about consciously, intentionally choosing what you let in. Of course, knowing you need a boundary and then actually setting one, those are two very different things. And let's be honest, this is often the hardest work we'll ever do, especially with the people we love the most.
This is such a powerful and relatable example from another participant, Becky. She's describing a classic boundary problem, always being the fall person, the one who takes the blame just to keep the peace. This is exactly where that filtration system is needed, to stop taking on responsibility that isn't even hers to begin with.
So that covers the external world, but what about the internal world? Let's turn inward now. Tool number two is all about managing the chaos inside our own heads, that constant swirl of thoughts, worries, and mental to-do lists that can just totally overwhelm us. So, what's the number one trick for dealing with all those thoughts spinning around in your head? Get them out. Externalize them. The simple act of taking a thought out of your brain and putting it onto something physical, a list, a calendar, whatever, it frees up an unbelievable amount of mental space. It's called cognitive offloading, and it stops that endless loop.
And this is where the real magic happens when you do that. This is Sarah again. By putting her plans on calendars and lists, she literally learned to trust that past Sarah had already figured it out, and that stops the constant mental replanning and creates that state of ease she was talking about. It's a total game changer.
All right, let's pull all of these ideas together into one simple practical technique. This is about taking everything we've talked about, the small steps, the nervous system, managing your inner world, and turning it into an active practice you can use to actually reprogram your mind.
It's called the rapid reprogramming technique, and it's a simple three-part statement. First, you just acknowledge the struggle. You say, "It has been feeling like," then you declare your power over it. "Despite this, I am free, clear, and." And finally, you affirm the new reality that you are actively creating.
What makes this so effective is that you're not trying to ignore your problems or pretend they don't exist. You're holding two things at once: the reality of your challenge and the truth of your power to create something new. It's a brain training tool that slowly, incrementally shifts your focus from the problem to the possibility.
And that brings us right back to where we started, with a question just for you. After thinking about the comfort trap, how our brains work, and these new tools, I'll just leave you with this to chew on. What good thing in your life might just be the very thing that's keeping you from something truly great?